All right, guys, today you are going to do a quick patterns unit. We're going to start with visual and numerical patterns. So in your table of contents, go ahead and title line 10, visual and numerical patterns. All right, and then let me flip to page 10. Okay, I'm going to start with visual patterns over here. And visual patterns are exactly what they sound like. They're an image, they're a picture, they're something you can see. So let's see. I'm going to have you draw a circle with an X through it. Go ahead and draw 3 of those. Okay. And then in the first one, you're going to shade in this top triangle, and then on the right, and then down on the bottom. Okay. If I asked you to continue this visual pattern to something that you can see, I hope it's clear that you would draw your circle with an X, and this shaded triangle would be on the right. Okay. So visual patterns are things that you can see. The next type of pattern you might have is numerical. Okay, an example of this is like the Fibonacci sequence. Okay, so your Fibonacci sequence is 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. If I asked you to finish this sequence, it might take you a second to figure it out, but the trick to it is you take the previous 2 terms, add them together to get the next term. So 1, this becomes 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 5, 2 plus 3 is 5, 3 plus 5 is 8, 5 plus 8 is 13. 8 plus 13 would give you 21. 13 and 21 would give you 34. 21 and 34 would give you 55. So this explanation, you add 2 previous numbers to get the next one. Okay, so visual and numerical patterns are really easy to see. There's all types of different ways you can put those patterns together. Okay, now if you combine these two, this is where your algebraic rules start to come into play. First thing I want you to do is write down a couple of these definitions. The term is how the elements in a pattern are counted. Okay. The initial condition. This one's going to be super important when we get into arithmetic sequences, things like that. But the initial condition is your constant or your 0 term, meaning what you start with. Number of original units. The next one is the rate of change, and this is how the pattern changes each step, or how the pattern changes at each step. And then your pattern rule is how the pattern is created. Oh, Carter's making her debut in the background. You might be able to hear her crying a little bit. Okay, so you have your term, initial condition, rate of change, and pattern rule. I'm going to show you how to put all of these together and give you a couple of examples. Okay, so you have your definitions. The next thing I want you to do is on this whole page, you're going to create a 4-column table. Sorry, it's a little messy, but you get the idea. Okay, so the first column, I want you to title it term, and then we're gonna have a picture, we're gonna have a process, and we're gonna say number of blocks. Okay, so create this table first. Okay, so your first term is your 0 term, and this picture is gonna have 3 blocks in it. Okay, so I'm gonna say start with 3, and the total number of blocks, that's easy to see, is 3. Okay, in term 1, so I'm gonna draw a line here. Term 1, you're gonna have your initial condition of 3, and then we're gonna add these 2. So this would be start with 3, and then we're gonna add 2. So now we have 5 blocks. Okay, draw another line. The next term is gonna be 2. And if we add that, we're gonna add 2 blocks here. And again, we started with 3. And then we added 2 and added 2. So this would be 7. And then your last term, oh, I'll make my table a little bit bigger. Okay, so I'm gonna start with 3, and you can probably guess that there's gonna be 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is the 3rd term, and we started with 3, and then we added 2, and added 2 to get 9. Okay, so looking at your table here, so this is your visual pattern. Here's your numerical pattern. Now we're going to put it together to create a pattern rule. First thing is the initial condition. What you started with is 3 right here. Okay. That's going to be your starting term. And then let's see, the rate of change is 2, because we are adding 2 to each term. Okay. And then the term numbers allow you to determine which part of the pattern is being talked about. And then your pattern rule, the last part, is putting it all together. So we started with 3. So that's our initial, our constant here. Because you're adding 2 each time, this is going to become 2 times 0 plus 3 is 3. That's because you get the 0 from your term number. Then you take your rate of change, multiply it by the term number, and we add 3. That's our constant. So 2 being the rate of change, 1 being the term number, 3 being the constant. Then you have 2 times 2 plus 3. 2 times 3 plus 3, and so forth. So if I wanted you to tell me how many blocks were in the 57th term, you could say 2 times 57 plus 3. So your pattern rule becomes 2 times x plus 3. I'm going to say equals Y or equals the total number of blocks. Okay? So that should help you with your assignment today. You're going to have 3. You're going to have a visual patterns page, like this, numerical patterns page, and then a combining them all together here. So make sure you read the directions carefully. Make sure you read through each of those pages. They should give you enough examples to complete your assignments. All right, have a good day, guys. Bye.